Hello all, hello and welcome to the first of our webinars on careers and your future. My name's Lisa from Brunel University London, and I'll be handing over to my colleague Dr. Louise Bamford, who's a careers consultant here at Brunel. She'll be talking to you about careers at Brunel and give you some advice. If you've got any questions, please pop them into the chat and we will answer them at the end. I'll also be adding some information in the chat for you to look at. If you're interested for any more of our webinars, they're on our website as well in the news and events section, and I'll put the link into that. And for now, I'll hand you over to Dr. Louise Bamford.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Lisa, and welcome everyone. Lovely for you to have you join us today. As Lisa just said, I'm going to be running through some advice and some tips around managing careers and thinking about your future. So, really pleased to have you joining us today. And I'm very much hoping to share with you, how we look at careers and also the support that the Professional Development Centre will be able to offer you. As you can see, Dr. Louise Bamford, so I have a PhD myself, and as part of that, I actually have provide the careers support for our doctoral and postdoctoral researchers at Brunel. So if any of you are thinking about doing doctoral research, I will be the careers consultant who will be supporting you. Or if any of you actually are thinking about doing master's courses and are thinking about possibly doing a PhD after that, then I will also be happy to support you and think specifically about how you might make that transition. So, as I say, I'm going to talk for about 30 to 40 minutes, and as Lisa said, if you've got any questions, just pop them in the Q&A, and I'll be happy to address those questions at the end of the session. So today, what I'm going to do is aim to give you a little bit of an overview around, how you can take control of your career, kind of key steps that you might think about in terms of, managing your career actively. I'm going to take you through some various stages of that, and at each stage I'm going to think about how can the Professional Development Centre help you with that. I'll be wrapping up with a few top tips for success, and then, as I say, finally you'll have an opportunity to ask any questions you might have. Okay, so career management can seem quite daunting. Sort of, well, what do you want to do? So it can be, as I say, difficult to think, oh, how can I start? How can I find what would really suit me? So I really want to take you through 4 key areas that I think will help you think about, what are your career goals? Where are you heading? How can you make sure that you're going to successfully, achieve your career goals? And how can the Professional Development Centre here at Brunel help you? So there'll be 4 key areas, looking at getting to know yourself, what suits you, what you're good at, what you're interested in. We'll be looking at exploring your options, a huge range of opportunities that are open to you. How can you find out more information about the different opportunities you might have to inform your career planning. We'll be talking a little bit about the various employability development programs that we have here at Brunel. And then finally, I'll touch a little bit on the kinds of support we offer to help you really effectively job hunt as you complete your studies, should you choose to come to Brunel. Okay, so just starting with getting to know yourself. So often people can find this one of the more challenging aspects of, oh, what would really suit me? What's the role should I go for? Some of you may already have some ideas. Some of you may think, yes, I know exactly what I want to do. But for those of you who may be still thinking about, what would be a good career path for me? What kind of things should I be aiming for? Because, if you can understand yourself, then obviously you're going to be able to make more informed career decisions. You'll be able to think about what kind of things to explore and what kind of skills that you need to develop to make sure that you're able to compete effectively, as I say, as you graduate. So a little slide I thought might help you think about, what could you be doing in your future career? And I've tried to break it down into kind of 3 main areas, because sometimes you can get a little bit pigeonholed, and it's quite helpful to think about, well, if I step back, think for a few moments, what would I be doing? If I was in my dream job, what would I be doing? You might want to think about, what would you be doing if you were in the dream job, the right role for you? what kind of activities would you be doing? So do you enjoy writing? Do you like talking? Do you like presenting? Do you like researching? Do you like organising? What sort of things do you feel would contribute to an effective career goal for you? So that's kind of what you would actually be doing in the kind of role, and that kind of thinking about the kind of tasks, the kinds of skills you might be using. The next thing I think can be helpful to think about is, where are you doing this? So, thinking about maybe the kind of sector, because sometimes people just say, oh, I want to work in banking, or I want to work in public sector. So this is more thinking about what kind of organisation do you want to work in? Thinking about, do you want to work in a private organisation, the public sector, a charity, a startup? Do you want to work for yourself? Does a small organisation suit you, or do you find you're, at your best in a larger organisation? What kind of, business sectors interest you, and where would you like to work? So really thinking about, where would you be doing these activities that you enjoy? And then the last thing I think can be helpful when you're thinking about getting to know yourself is, what's motivating you? So thinking about what's important to you, what are your values? Is it about helping others? Is it about, being appreciated? Is it about travel? Is it about, meeting targets, competing? So really thinking about, what will drive you on? Because I think if you can get to a role that's going to really motivate you, then obviously you're much more likely to be, effective in that role, and obviously much more likely to, achieve, a good career outcome for yourselves. So as I say, hopefully those are some things that might help you in terms of when you start to think about yourself. Maybe reflect back on things that you've done in the past. Previous work experience. I know a lot of you here are postgraduates, so I'm imagining quite a lot of you have previous work experience. So it might be good to think about the things that you've enjoyed, and perhaps even the things that you haven't enjoyed so much, and how can that inform what might be right for you. Obviously, you don't need to do this alone. Very much, myself and my fellow careers consultants, this is very much the kind of work that we can do with you. We have a team of 6 very experienced careers consultants. And the way we organise our careers consultants is we have people who are specific to specific subjects. So that means that if you book our appointments with a careers consultant, you will be talking to someone who's used to working with people from your subject discipline. So you know that they are familiar with the kind of career paths, they're familiar with the kind of employers. And as you saw, I'm the researcher careers consultant. So if you are interested in going on to a career in academia, for example, if you're interested in doing a PhD in doctoral studies and potentially going out into industry, or many of the other roles that people go out to after doctoral studies, you would be working specifically with me. So regardless of which careers consultant you'd be working with, we would work with you, as I say, on our one-to-one confidential appointments, and we would work with you to reflect on, what are you interested in, what are the core skills that you have, what motivates you, and really helping you to do that kind of reflective piece around thinking about your previous education, your employment, extracurricular activities, and really seeing if we can build up a picture of what could be a good fit for you. The other thing that we'll be doing to look at in these appointments, we'll be thinking about, planning your professional development. If you come to Brunel, it's really important to us that you get the very most from your studies and your time here at Brunel. So that's not just completing your course, but also thinking about, are there other things that you can do to, plan your professional development and to enrich your experience. And I'll be telling you a little bit more about all the things that we offer that can help you develop your skills and employability. And then finally, we might signpost you to some psychometric tests, looking at kind of your strengths, your personality, and so on. So again, really looking at, how can we help you to build up a picture of what could be a good fit for you. Okay, moving on to the next section. So we've looked at self-awareness. We've thought about, what could be a good fit for you. What are you looking for? What's important to you? Now I want to talk a little bit about, how we will help you explore your career options. So that's very much marrying, what you like and what's out there. Many of you may already be aware that the UK graduate market is in fact very flexible, and many of the roles that are open to new graduates are open to students from any discipline. So it can be really helpful to keep your options open and really explore quite widely the various opportunities that could be available to you from people from your discipline. So we would very much encourage you to gather information and advice. Looking at specific different sorts of roles, different sorts of occupations, and again, that's something that our careers consultants can help you with. We'd encourage you to investigate different sectors. As I already mentioned, you might want to think about the public sector, the private sector, charities, and so on. Think about specific industries. So again, we would help you with that. Encourage you to attend events, follow employers and sectors on social media, follow the up-to-date news. So really gathering lots of information about the kinds of opportunities that could be open to you, to help inform you in terms of what you want to investigate and hopefully progress towards as you graduate. And then the other aspect I'd really emphasise for exploring your options is to think about building your network. I think there are many of us, if you spoke to someone, they say, oh, how did you get your job, or how did you find out about that role? A lot of people would say, oh, actually, somebody mentioned to me about this kind of opportunity, or somebody mentioned this organisation, why don't you take a look at them? And I think particularly, I'd say at postgraduate level, when you're looking to potentially move in at a slightly higher level in an organisation, building those networks, finding out about opportunities can be so important. And also, particularly if you are new to a sector, or you're new to the UK, then talking to people in the industry can really help inform how do things work in this organisation, what kind of things do people look for in applications. And so we would encourage you to build up your network, and you can do that through LinkedIn as well. And we also have a really active alumni association. We have lots of Brunel alumni who are on our network, who are ready to help and support and guide you as well. So we've been really lucky in that sense. So meeting employers, I've just said, is really important, and we're very lucky to have a dedicated employer engagement team here at Brunel. And I'm showing you here the stats for 2019-2020. I think, as you can appreciate, last year was a little bit different, but in a typical year, we're really active. We have a lot of actively encourage employers to come on campus. We run a variety of careers fairs, if we have to, or if that's the way the industry trends seem to be going. We're happy to run those virtually as well. And in fact, been running a number of virtual fairs over this last year as well. So, and in fact, that can give you opportunity to speak to an even bigger range of employers, because it means they don't have to all come specifically to Brunel. They can dial in. So. We're really actively working at how can we get you connected with employers, how can we get exposure for our students to prospective employers, and so we'll arrange a range of activities, whether it's skills sessions, whether it's drop-in sessions, whether it's fairs. And obviously, we have a range of sort of vacancy boards and so on as well, in terms of employers being able to promote the vacancies they might have. So, you can rest assured that that's something that's really important to us, and we spend a lot of time making sure that we can connect the students and employers. Okay, moving on. So we've talked so far about thinking about yourself, being aware of what you're interested in, what's important to you. We talked about exploring your different options. One of the other things, as I said, is really important is that you think about how to really make the most of your time here at Brunel, and so really to maximise the development of your employability, so that you can really compete effectively. And we've written here, a degree alone is not enough. And I think that's really sort of recognising that, a degree is a great starting point. Obviously, there's a whole range of knowledge, skills and experience you'll develop doing your degree. But it's also thinking about how can you really, stand out from the crowd, be competitive amongst a number of different graduates all competing for similar roles. I'd say just a little comment about the job market this year. Obviously, it has been a little bit unusual, but I think we are starting to see that the jobs market is definitely starting to pick up. I think it's, there's been a number of sectors which have been particularly strong actually during the pandemic. So things like digital, things like logistics, retail, and so on have all been very strong. Healthcare, obviously. Some industry sectors haven't really been affected at all by the pandemic, so that's sort of finance and those kind of industries that often it's quite common for people to work from home. So we've seen a number of sectors have continued to still be very actively recruiting. Others have taken a little bit of a step back last year, but we're starting to see employers being more active again. So we are hopeful that the market will start to pick up. So, but of course, to make sure that you can really compete effectively, employers are going to be selective and really thinking about, how can they get the best candidates for their jobs. And I think often they're going to be looking at the importance of those soft skills that you can develop both during your degree studies, but also in extracurricular and other intracurricular activities. So, things that will develop your problem solving, your presentation skills, your analysis skills, showing off your resilience, showing your ability to overcome problems. So these are all skills that are, that employers tell us, they're really looking for, and say, in addition to your course leaders and your tutors, we very much see that as part of our role as well, to develop your skills. So the first aspect of that, I suppose, is thinking about work experience. We do have dedicated placement teams who are subject specific. So we have placement teams who are for our undergraduates, and then we also have a couple of postgraduate placement officers as well. And they're very much looking at how to get you there's placement opportunities. For some of you, there will be a placement sort of built into the course, but in fact, even if a placement isn't built into your course, you can rest assured that our role, along with the placements team, will be also to still look at possible opportunities for you. So just because a placement isn't a formal part of your course doesn't mean to say that we won't provide assistance to you, and that can be in the format of sort of effective job hunting, where to look, how to look, CV advice, interview support. So very much aiming to make sure that you're able to give the application process your best shot. I know a number of you might be thinking about part-time or vacation jobs, and again, that very much falls under the Professional Development Centre remit. So we have a variety of different ways that you can achieve part-time work. On campus, all our opportunities go through the job shop, so you can take a look at that. That's a great way. So that's the roles such as working in clearing, being an ambassador, working in the library, so all sorts of different opportunities to work on campus. And then we also obviously have opportunities off campus as well. So the PDC jobs boards, we will promote actively opportunities that are off campus as well. And again, obviously providing you with the support that you need to be able to compete for those roles. A little bit about volunteering. Again, volunteering can be a fantastic way to develop your employability, and we have an active team here. I think in a typical year we'd have over 500 students participating in our volunteering schemes. And this year, of course, they've been really super busy as well. Lots of opportunities for volunteering, and I think between them, I think we usually say about 14 to 15,000 volunteering hours our volunteers give. So we have really strong links with our local community, and it's a great way for you to get to know people, to feel part of a team, and to develop your core skills as well. Not to mention, of course, giving back. So it's a really great way to kind of get settled in and to meet new people. The other thing that the volunteering centre do is that they run our buddy schemes. So if you'd like to have somebody to buddy up with when you arrive, just to help you settle in, tell you where the shops are, you know, where to go for different sorts of activities, then I'd recommend the buddy scheme, because it's just a fantastic way just to have someone you can call and ask those little questions like, oh, you know, I don't know how to do this, or, you know, I don't know, you know, where to go to the shops. So they can give you those tips and advice and provide you with that sort of friendly voice that you know somebody's got your back when you arrive. We have a number of different, what I call skills, I suppose, skills or employability programs. You know, a couple of these sort of very visible ones are our Brunel Plus scheme. So this is a great way for our students to sort of structure, I guess, their extracurricular activities. You know, they gain points. You can go for bronze, silver, and gold awards. And basically, the more activities that you do, the more points that you gain. And this really sort of takes you through this process of developing your skills and gathering new experiences, which again, as I say, will help you be effective and compete, you know, once you start to apply for jobs as well. So these can be in all sorts of different areas. We've got professional, well-being, global, and campus type activities as well. So a great scheme, and it just gives you a little bit of a framework, gives you a little bit of a boost, and as I say, it's a great way to sort of kind of measure your progress as you develop your skills. The other program I wanted to talk about is the READY program. So this is a group project. It's actually a project that is interdisciplinary project. So you get to work with students from different disciplines, different backgrounds. And it's a project based in a refugee camp in Zambia. And basically the idea is that you have to come up with a novel new product that might improve the lives of that refugee community. And it runs for a whole term, and you meet weekly with your group. So it's a really great way to you know, show off what you can achieve through group working. And we know, employers tell us that that ability to collaborate, you know, work well with colleagues, particularly with people from all sorts of different backgrounds, you know, is really something that they value. So, you know, this program gives you the opportunity to show that off. The other thing I wanted to tell you about was our Entrepreneur Hub. So for all those budding entrepreneurs out there, you know, if you're thinking you've got a business idea or you want to work freelance, you know, we've got a great entrepreneur hub that provides, you know, specific support for people who want to start their own business. So this is Carlton, who set up his own business, has been hugely successful. You can see all the awards that he's gained. I think he's developed some sort of special lithium battery, and he's, you know, really gone from strength to strength and really benefited from sort of one-to-one advice, got business planning, how to market your business. So, you know, kind of every aspect. We do lots of events and networking opportunities as well. So, you know, it's really good to kind of keep that in mind. I know for those of you who will be coming on a student visa, obviously you need to make sure that you don't do anything that would, you know, sort of go against the requirements of your visa, but you can certainly start to plan and obviously, you know, really think about how you might develop your business idea and then later take it forward. There may be some of you who are thinking, I'd like to learn a new language, and that's all free, part of being a Brunel student. So we've got a number of languages there, one of the most popular ones. You know, a really popular aspect of the opportunity to develop yourself at Brunel. So, you know, you can develop your communication skills, gives you an insight into other cultures, you know, and it can prepare you for, you know, the global job market. And again, you know, that awareness of different cultures, being able to communicate in different languages, again, is something that our employers tell us that they really value. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up with just talking about the final aspect of sort of kind of effective career management, and that's really about effective job hunting. So, you know, this is something that our consultants, you know, will very much be happy to advise you on. And I've also put in brackets there that, you know, if you are thinking about further study, as I say, particularly if you are thinking about doctoral research, something like that, that we can certainly advise you on further study as well. So, but thinking about job hunting, you know, we can advise you on different types of jobs, whether it's a graduate scheme, graduate job, thinking about small, medium companies, that's what we call an SME. So, when to look, because those larger schemes, for those of you who are thinking about potentially joining us in September, the large graduate employers do start looking, some of them as early as August, actually. So, very much would encourage you, if you have got some particular employers in mind, particularly those ones that are sort of the city banks and those kind of organisations, they do start their recruitment very early, and the autumn is very busy time, so for graduate schemes. So, we can help you, make sure you get on top of that straight away as soon as you arrive. Or for the smaller, medium-sized companies, is more of a sort of just-in-time recruitment method. So, you can look at those a little bit later into your studies. We can advise you on where to look, and I put widely, as I said, lots of different opportunities. The big schemes are often very easy to find. It's the smaller organisations, so we can help you sort of search effectively for smaller companies, where to look, the kind of common vacancy sources for different sorts of roles. And say, I would really say keep your options open. Consider all the different sorts of opportunities. And really thinking about, again, what could suit you. And then finally, we can advise you more on that sort of networking side of things as well, and perhaps, approaching organisations, speculatively. So, writing to firms where you think you could be a good fit, and saying, this is what I've got to offer. Perhaps it's possible to, have a short conversation about, possible opportunities in your firm. And I guess my experience of working particularly with postgraduate students, I know many of you are postgraduate students, is that, many of you have got, experience from previous roles, and you might have particular expertise. And so sometimes, it can be really effective to think about, probably more niche type organizations where, you would be a really fantastic fit, maybe because of, your previous experience, your particular expertise, particular knowledge or skills that you have. So again, we're very used to working with everyone from new undergraduates through to, experienced postgraduates, MBA students, doctoral researchers. So, whatever your situation, we'll be happy to tailor your approach and work with you in terms of how you can really effectively work on the market for yourself. I think many of you will know that, to be effective in job hunting, it's really important to understand what that employer is looking for. So that's really looking at the kind of job specs, looking at the organisation, looking at the role, and really thinking about how can I tailor my CV and applications so I'm really demonstrating how I meet that particular employer's needs. And we can definitely help you with that. As I mentioned before, we're happy to help you with psychometric testing, so online virtual reality testing. There's all sorts of new technologies out there, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, situational testing. So, again, that's part of our role, is to keep up to date with that and help advise you in terms of how to, be the best you can be in those kind of testing situations. We offer you the opportunity to have interview practice as well. So this year we've been doing all our online interviews, so very much like employers, actually. So I think it's worked really well. I was just saying to Lisa that our one-to-one appointments have all been online this year, and to be honest, it's worked really, really well, and I think it can be very good practice for those kinds of online interviews that you might experience with employers at the moment, or indeed those sort of video interviews where basically questions will come up on the screen, and then you'll have a couple of minutes to respond to those questions. So however interviews evolve over the next coming months, and I'm almost certain that they will change quite a bit, we will be able to help you with that. And then finally, obviously, assessment centres, particularly for the larger graduate recruiters, assessment centres where you might be asked to do a particular task. We are able to advise you on that. So you might be asked to do a presentation or do some group work. So all of those things, we'll be happy to share our experience and top tips for, how to survive that process. Okay, so I sort of run through a number of different ways that we can help you, whether it's thinking about getting to know yourself, thinking about what could be a good career choice for you. We talked about exploring different options. We thought about how we can help you develop your skills and experience whilst you're here if you come to Brunel, and on also the kind of support that we can give you in terms of the application process itself. And then the best news is that that career support remains free of charge for you for up to 3 years after you graduate. So you can see a quote here from a appreciative master's student. You know, we really recognise that, you know, we encourage you to start early with your job hunting. I think right from the moment that you arrive, and particularly if you are thinking about a master's course, you know, it is challenging, and you will, if you want to work for the larger employers, you will need to start thinking about, you know, graduate applications quite soon after you arrive. But for many of you, you may also, you know, continue to appreciate that career support, you know, after you graduate as well. And you know, and we'll be delighted to hear from you and continue to support you as you make that transition, and really make sure that you get the most out of your postgraduate or undergraduate study with us. So I'm just going to run through a few stats in terms of employability. So amazingly, this is actually the latest data. This is the 2017-18 cohort. So we've now moved to a system in the UK where we actually survey our students, graduates, 15 months after they graduate. So you can see how that takes you through to well into 2019, and then you've got to collate the data and so on. So this is the very latest data that we've currently got. You know, we're very proud to see that, you know, 90% of Brunel graduates are currently in work or further study or combination of both. And in fact, the remaining 10%, that's not to say 10% are unemployed, it just means that a small percentage of those will be unemployed, but also a lot of them may be, you know, sort of not actively looking for work at the moment. So, you know, so as I say, you know, we're really proud of that statistic. If you look at the number of our employed graduates who are in highly skilled employment, this is our overall stat for the whole Brunel population. So 76% of our graduates are in high skilled employment. But for those of you who are thinking about postgraduate study, you know, I can confirm that that stat is actually even higher for postgraduates. So actually 90% of our postgraduates who are employed will be in highly skilled employment. So, you know, we really feel like, you know, we're very able to send you on your way into an effective and productive career. You can see here some of the larger organisations who are likely to hire Brunel graduates, a lot of big organisations there. And I'd say, to be honest, also, you know, to bear in mind that, you know, many of you will go on to work for smaller organisations, so, you know, smaller niche organisations, you know, maybe where your unique skill sets can really add value. And I think, you know, there's lots of great opportunities to be had with smaller organisations as well. I know it's just people like to see the big names. We certainly have plenty of those. But I think, you know, you can have really satisfying, fulfilling careers in smaller organisations as well. Okay, oh, we couldn't resist putting this slide in. So this is all the awards. So, you know, if we say so ourselves, we think we're quite good at providing career support. You know, we've won a variety of different awards over the years. And so, you know, as I say, we're justifiably proud of, you know, the service that we're able to offer. You know, and should you come to Brunel, you know, we'll be really delighted to help you with that, you know, whether it's thinking about developing your employability, thinking about placements, thinking about, you know, really making contribution to your career progression and employability. So finally, yes, I guess, you know, Louise's top tips for careers. I guess I'd say, you know, regardless of what you decide to do or where you go, we hope very much that you'll come to Brunel. I'd say, you know, engage early with your career development. You know, it's never too soon to start, and I think, you know, it's a little and often if you can start to, you know, reflect on what you like, you know, think about the options, start to think about things that can build up your skill set, start to look ahead at, you know, what do employers look for in your kind of sector, you know, engaging early. Investing in your personal development, being curious about the different opportunities, try new things, you know, it's just, you'll have so many different opportunities should you come to Brunel. So these are all great ways to start to, you know, really invest in your own personal and career development. Networking is a particular thing of mine. I'm so keen on really helping people to build those networks, because I think, you know, we will provide you with the core foundations, but, you know, if you can speak to and get to know people who are active in your career area of interest, you know, this can really pay dividends in terms of informing you, helping you identify different sorts of roles that might suit you, thinking about how to be effective in the application process. You know, a network can be a fantastic way to really support your own career management. I think particularly as you get further into your career, as many of you are, I think those networks are so important in terms of helping you progress. I'd say stay flexible. You know, there are lots of different opportunities open to you, and you know, it's really good to think, oh, I'm just going to explore new things. And you know, it's amazing. You know, you don't want to just think about the career options that you know about. You know, think about new things, try new things, and you never. And that's the thing about networking and trying new things. You never know where it will take you. I'd say the thing about job hunting is, you know, it does take a while, and you know, preparing for your job hunting, thinking about what employers are looking for, how you might meet their needs. You know, I'm very much a quality over quantity person in terms of thinking about effectively applying for jobs. You know, if you send out 100, you know, fairly low-key, not very well targeted CVs, you're much less likely to be successful than if you send out a few chosen really high-quality applications to a smaller number of employers. And then I guess just finally, just to say that, you know, everyone is here to help. You know, we have a big team in the Professional Development Centre. We cover all the main aspects in terms of entrepreneurship, employer liaison, placements teams, and careers consultants, you know, and, you know, it's very much, we're all here to help you make the most should you come to Brunel.